Right now, we've got some breaking news coming in, and we'll be throwing over to our partners at Fox Sports News.
The peace talks are, unfortunately, they were not successful. Unfortunately for Iran,
right?
Because we can do this all day.
So do we have Trey up now? Okay, Trey, we've got Trey Yinks with us now from Tel Aviv. So Trey, what can you tell us about this Truth Social post that Trump just posted?
Look, this is a significant announcement by President Trump, and once again, an indication that the United States holds the cards here. The president is the decision maker, even as it relates to the Strait of Hormuz. And we heard just yesterday, as these two Navy destroyers passed through the strait, threats from the Iranians claiming that they would fire on these vessels. And the president is very clear here in his post on Truth Social. This will not be tolerated. Threats or strikes against U.S. forces or vessels in the region will have consequences. And so once again, the president is showing who is in charge, not just at the negotiating table, but on the battlefield. And we talk about the Iranian Navy and what is left of it. There was a systematic campaign by the United States and Israel over the past 40 days when Operation Epic Fury was ongoing that showed the Iranian Navy had no way to defend its own vessels, whether it was the mine-laying vessels or even these larger ships. Most of them are at the bottom of the sea at this point, and that is a result of the heavy U.S. strikes that were ordered by President Trump and executed by U.S. Central Command. And so with this decision to order a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, the president is once again showing the Iranians if they are unwilling to make concessions at the negotiating table, the president will force them into those concessions on the battlefield.
And, of course, take away all the money that they're making by letting those ships, the ships that they're letting that have paid the toll pass through. In his Truth Social, he writes that I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. So that's going to be controversial with a Chinese or Pakistani flagged ship that Iran has allowed through. What's the reaction in the international community going to be to that?
Look, there may be some people who are critical of President Trump, but the president rightly pointed out that these countries did not participate in helping to open the Strait of Hormuz during Operation Epic Fury. Sure. We've heard a lot of comments from European officials who say that the president should make different decisions or that they're trying to put pressure on the operation. The reality is you have countries like France, for example, who have come out in opposition of what the president is saying, but they're not helping to open the Strait of Hormuz, but they benefit when it is open. And so it raises these important questions about if countries around the world who benefit from the strait being open are going to participate in securing the strait. And that's exactly what the president has pointed out with NATO and other countries around the world, understanding that the United States just uses a few percentage points of its oil through this international waterway. There is around 20% of the global crude oil trade going through this waterway, but just a small fraction of U.S. needs actually making it through this area.
Trey, so the seizure of the strait attempt by Iran violates the law of the sea, which is a United Nations Convention law of the sea. Will we see perhaps NATO countries and other countries in their international response to sort of support the president's effort to blockade ships to force Iran to relinquish control there after we're having to go in and demine it?
It's a great question. And look, there are a variety of things that President Trump is ordering right now across the region, not just as it relates to the Strait of Hormuz and this blockade.